I just want to begin by acknowledging, Kenny Moore's Walter Payton Man of the Year for us, for the Indianapolis Colts. What a great honor. How deserving it is for Kenny. You're talking about obviously not only a star player on the field, but this guy is extremely selfless. He cares deeply about this community. He's a consistent giver. He's always in the community giving back, not just when the cameras are on, but just all the time. He's the heart and soul of what we're about as an organization, as a team. And so just congratulations to Kenny. Happy for him, proud of him, and everything he represents. Just transitioning to the game this week, obviously very excited to be prime time at home in Lucas Oil. Really looking forward to our fans being in there. Think it's going to be an electric atmosphere Saturday night up against obviously a very good opponent, a very good AFC opponent. So we're looking forward to that challenge and looking forward to our fans, providing an electric atmosphere.
All right, we'll start with Zach Kiefer.
Hey, Frank, and you were asked about this last week with Bill Belichick. Everyone knows he's very, very good at taking away your best offensive threat. You've only faced him once as a head coach, but you had him in the Super Bowl with the Eagles right before that. I'm curious, in your experiences, does that force you to have a lot of different things on the table going into the game, basically to prepare yourself for what he might throw at you? You can expect what you're going to get, but does that put more pressure on the offensive staff to be prepared for what he might throw at you defensively?
I think it's a combination of, always having your core stuff ready, always, as you're saying, Zach, having some things in our back pocket, knowing the different ways that he might try to attack us. That's unpredictable to some extent. It probably is helpful to us that it's later in the year so that we have a lot of accumulated reps on offense. So if we need to make adjustments in the course of a game, we can go to things that we've run and have a lot of accumulated reps on.
George Bremer.
Frank, you guys always pride yourselves on the whole 53, but on a week like this, do you go to a Zach Pascal or a Nyheim Hines, and because you know that they're going to try to make you do different things and remind them, you could really be necessary on Saturday?
I think all our guys are tuned into that every week. As you guys know, we take a lot of pride in how we spread the ball around. Sure, Pittman's the leading receiver. Sure, we like to, target TY, get TY involved and so on and so forth. But it really varies. You guys know this as well as anybody. It varies game to game, week to week for us. So, we go into the game thinking we're going to spread the ball around to start. So this game will be no different. And the great thing about a guy like, for instance, Michael Pittman or TY, they're unselfish players. JT, unselfish player. Nyheim Hines, unselfish player. I mean, our guys want to put themselves in position to make plays, trusting that, we'll call the right play. We'll mix up the calls. Carson will read through the progressions and the ball will go where it's supposed to. And we make the plays that are there for us.
Mike Chappell.
Two things, Frank. One, is there an update on Ryan Kelly? Is he still in COVID?
Still in COVID protocol, and he will be there. We expect him back tomorrow.
The other thing, when you face a team, I guess any team that may try to take away Taylor, which a lot of
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
A team that tries to take away Taylor, which a lot of teams try to do, is there a balance in, I don't want to say being stubborn, but that's your strength. So you make sure you push it as far as you can before you sort of get away from him, if that makes any sense?
No, it makes perfect sense, Mike. And there is a balance. And, there's a pulse that you got to take in the game. That could vary from game to game. Some games you're going to stay more patient. Some games you're going to, we're going to mix it up sooner. It depends on field position. It depends on how the defense is doing. The flow of the game. Those are all the intangibles that go into it that slide the scale one way or the other.
Thanks, Coach.
Joel Erickson.
Frank, just kind of piggybacking on Chap's question. That down the stretch here, whether it's the Patriots or everybody else, they're all going to load up against Jonathan. What do you have to do to keep him at his efficiency level when teams are going to be coming after him, just given what he's produced so far?
Well, I think there's two thoughts there, Joel. One is his efficiency, right? Some of that comes with just pure carries. Hey, if you get it to him enough, he's going to create big plays. But, at the same time, we don't want him to pound his head up against the wall, play in and play out. So again, that goes back to that mix of, how much is too much or how much isn't enough. And that's a game by game, really series by series feel.
JJ?
Hey, Frank, what have you come to appreciate about Jack Doyle over the 4 years you've been with him with kind of these 4 iterations of this offense?
I'm sorry, one more time, JJ.
What have you come to appreciate about Jack Doyle over the 4 years you've been with him with kind of the 4 iterations of the offense?
Yeah, I mean, Jack is so versatile. He's such a great player. He is dynamic in the run game. We can move him around. He's a playmaker in the run game. He's an excellent blocker. But the thing that I think Jack has made a career of is he continues to fool people in the pass game. He can play a lot of different roles in the pass game for us. He's very good field route on zone coverage, but he's also has very good instincts versus man coverage. So we valued what Jack brings to this office. He's been able to adapt and adjust to what we need, as you said, JJ, with the different iterations of what we've done. He's really been a center point to whatever success we've had. Jack's been a big part of that.
Kevin Bowen?
Frank, any update on Paris Campbell? You expect him to practice at all this week, next week, or anything?
Yep. No update at this point.
Last one, Joel Erickson.
Frank, I know COVID it's kind of out of complete control because it's a virus, but Kelly going on the list and then you guys not having close contacts, that sort of thing. Do you feel like the way you guys have followed the protocols has been an asset for you?
I do. I think our players really deserve a lot of credit for, the steadfastness and the discipline to follow those protocols. And be responsible. Really speaks well to how good a teammates they are. Not wanting to hurt the team, but instead let's be conscientious, do the right thing, and do it consistently. So really a credit to them. Like you said, Joel, you never know. I mean, we've been good, but it is a virus, and we know there are still things out of our control. But to the best we can, we should still be responsible and follow the protocols to the T.
Did having the close contact situation you guys had there at the end of training camp, do you think that cemented anything for guys? It's just how careful you have to be.
I do think that factored into it. It was a wake up call. And then even during the year, we've tried to drop, as we've had quote unquote 1 or 2 scares along the way where, there's a guy that might have tested positive, but then on the retest, it was negative. And then you find out, that doesn't happen very often, but that's probably happened one time, maybe this year. And if there's a situation like if he had been positive, then 2 guys might've been out. You use that as an opportunity. Hey, we got by. This turned out to be a negative test, but if it had been positive, you 2 players would have been out. You kind of give examples like that when you can. And as a continual reminder, thankfully, we haven't had to do that very much, but we've tried to do that occasionally along the way, just as a reminder.